Yo, what's up, everyone? Hope y'all doing good. Welcome back to a new video. As you guys can see by the title, been doing pretty good these last couple days. I'm gonna talk about 3 trades I took, not just one, but like all 3. Yeah, let's just get right into it. Of course, you wanna go by your higher time frame buys first. We had this daily opening gap that got tapped, and you want to look first, like, are we going to inverse it or are we going to respect it? Well, in this case, we obviously respected it, tapped it, and then went right off. Haven't really taken any trades like these couple days because I just didn't really look or see anything nice. Like, pretty sure I ended up Monday and Tuesday break even, uh, which, yeah, nothing really worth noting. We're making a video on just like some couple break even trades. Let me know if you guys want to see those trades as well, the break even trades. Usually I don't really like see myself making a video on them because they usually don't really give any value. But if you guys want, I can also record those and just let you guys know, give a little talk back about that, or a little feedback. So first up, as you guys can see, we have some really nice equal highs on the London, which would be a very nice target for the day. And it's funny because literally when I started up the day, I was like, for some reason, I have the feeling that we're not gonna have like good BA, we're not gonna have this retracement, we're probably gonna just fly up. And literally when New York opened, it did that. It flew up because I was marking out these points for maybe like a re-entry 5-minute FG and then to the equal highs because that's just free buys, right? It's a free duel on the lower time frame. But yeah, it just went flying up, and I kind of had the feeling that was gonna happen, which sucked because that means, I mean, you can enter this, but that's FOMO, right? And we're trying to stay away from FOMO trading. What you could also have taken, and which I did think about doing, but it isn't my model, and as you guys might have seen as well, is the Powell 10 a.m. Shorts. Could have literally shorted this and then, done this and then done this, break even. Yeah, he hit TP. I thought about like taking it, but it really wasn't my model, and if I took that loss, I was probably gonna be like, why did I do that? Trying to prevent that, of course. So yeah, just pretty trash stuff. We also had Trump talking, and we had Tesla and Google earnings coming in. So I'm guessing that's like the main reason why we were just consolidating. We also had like a couple Trump spikes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right here we had this Trump spike, or this was Tesla and Google. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I was just, I was like gaming with a couple friends, and I was like, just let me see what those earnings do, right? 'Cause usually there's a lot of volume. And with that volume, if we go up, we usually go down, just retrace that. And we kind of did see that happen because here, and this might not be like that valid of an SMT, but to me, in that moment, it still was an SMT that I could use to trade. It was right here. Now, this right here, this point, we're gonna see that back in a second. We're gonna use that for our next trade. But for this trade, as you guys can see, this was the news low, and this was like the new high, news high. Well, we had like I said, this isn't the most valid SMT because it left out, like in this case, triple equal highs, or at least equal highs. I mean, this got swept, so then equal highs. But to me, in that moment, because I want to see us go down, to me, it's a SMT that I can use because it's just like an added confluence, right? Even if this wasn't an SMT, if this SMT wasn't here, I probably would have still taken this trade. So let's say an SMT gives like 100% confidence in confluences. like a confluence booster, this was maybe like 50%. So it's, I mean, it's still better than nothing. Then we had this CISD here, and I saw little things forming. I did enter like right here on a CISD with stops at this high, or this high, because I really wasn't expecting this to go up anyway. I was more expecting this to get tapped and then go down. We had this FEG. Now it sucks because, you know, you had to, or at least you have to close your trade at 10:45, and you can't hold your trade until 11, or at least that's my time, right? My time is 11 p.m. New York time is probably other, because I'm not from New York, I live in Europe. So yeah, I couldn't hold this trade full on. So I did close it like manually right here. Obviously, like we could have held this for, no, it's a joke. No, I did close it here for like 800 profit. Like obviously we could have held this like a bit longer, but to me, I was wondering, right, like, was I prepared to risk 300, for example, to go it back to here and I make 500 profit? Would I, and am I prepared to risk $300 to gain $200 or $300? So that's kind of the perspective you want to see yourself in, right? I mean, yeah, you can make 300 more to account 600, but you might also lose 300. And are you, are you down for that? Do you want that to happen? Because in big picture, if you make 500 on each account, you get 1K, right? If you make 800 on each account, you have 1.6K. That's almost 600 more. Like that's genuinely a week worth of salary for someone that works a 9 to 5. So that's something you have to, keep in perspective, because it is very easy to lose sight of money in trading, especially since you trade with a lot of demo stuff and evos and whatever. And then, yeah, of course, market closes and we just go down all the way. So bias was right, just the time kind of sucked on that. So yeah, that's the first trade that we got. And then we just, kept looking, because I was feeling, and lately Asia has been way cleaner than New York. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. And I was just think to myself, can we get a little Asia trade, right? So this was such a valid trade. This was such an A++ tier setup. We had this SMT right here. Am I tripping? I am tripping. I am very much tripping. Let me see. Yes, right. We had this SMT right here. We just swept this news low, and we had this opening gap. All very strong confluences, especially like this opening gap, because that's just a free draw liquidity. Because if you might not know, a opening gap also works like an FEG. It's where money wants to go to fill the imbalances and then do whatever it wants, right? Now, we also remember this guy, what I told you would come back. We had these or equal highs here, which was also a good extra confluence for us to not only go into this opening gap, but to also go way higher. And I'm gonna explain why this one is very important, because it made sure we didn't get a loss before we got a win. The thing is though, I did fade this trade, right? Because this was my original play. We had this very tiny FEG here. And then my original play was going to be this. So we had this, and then go to this right here. And boom, there you go. You have your 2K. And that's basically what I need for my account for the consistency. I did fade this because I was in a Valorant game and I wasn't paying all that much attention. That's something I have to work on. I have to, whenever I do something like gaming and I'm trading at the same time, I have to prioritize trading, leave my game behind, forget it. Even if it's competitive, I don't really care because, uh, everyone knows that this is way more important than a Valorant game. So that's something I have to work on for myself. Was kind of annoyed that I did miss this because this was honestly such a free setup. But I didn't let that make me do dumb stuff, Not long ago, not, maybe a couple months, I would have genuinely like crashed out, probably took a FOMO trade and then work from there without any confluences and just be sad and angry and other emotions because I blew the accounts. I'm really trying to go away from that. And it's working. Because what I would have done at first, and that's what I wanted to do, we marked out this FEG right here. And on the 30 seconds, we did respect it. So I went on the 30 seconds. We saw a bit of respecting. And I was like, okay, I want to enter this, right? Here. So on this candle. Okay, sure. Yeah, right here. So this candle, I was like, okay, we respecting it, right? We tapped into it and we're going lower. So I wanted to enter there, but I was like, wait, hold up. That doesn't fit the narrative. Like we just hit this. We are looking at inversing this. And we also still have these equal highs over here. So I was thinking to myself, hold up, be patient. Because even if we have these equal lows right here on the lower time frame, this is a higher time frame equal high. And to me, this fits the narrative more than this equal low. And yeah, sure, we could have gone lower. We could have gone like this, right? And then could have gone up and then swept this and then went up. We could have done that. But to me, we didn't need to do that because we had enough liquidity. I mean, like, look at this. And Asia isn't really too fond of retracing, getting liquidity, and then go up. Usually it just doesn't move. That's at least what I know from my knowledge. Maybe you guys have seen something else. Maybe you guys trade Asia in another way. That's your thing. But to me, I've seen that Asia, usually when we have moves like this, it doesn't really like retrace that big. It's not New York where it needs to manipulate. And also, it's the same session, right? The same session low doesn't need to be swept or manipulated for it to go up again. It's usually the task of another session to manipulate that, take that out, and then do its thing. So that's free sauce, free ball knowledge. If you didn't know that, yeah, take it from there. Now I did want to enter this, so we were so close to this equal high. But I didn't want to just YOLO it, right? Like I did want a confluence. I did want to enter a trade that made sense to me, and that I could have been like, okay, even though I lost, and I'd rather not have lost that trade. That I could have been to myself, okay, it's fine though, because you saw something that could have actually worked, even though it doesn't have the confluences of this, even though it is not like an A++ setup like this, there's still something. So that's what we did right here. We had the CISD. Bit of a late entry because I wanted to make sure like we actually respected it and we didn't just fake it out, because we did like enter this and we are low-key entering this, and we could have, because I was expecting, even though I was like saying Asia doesn't usually retrace all that much, I was expecting a bit more retracement from this at least to go up here, like a little manipulation and then up. But I guess we didn't. Now I did get a really bad feel because I entered here and it literally like entered me here, which is just garbage, right? It's just very garbage. And that's why I put it break even like very quickly, like almost instantly. Because like I said, I was expecting a bigger retracement. Now, also funny enough, at this point, so I'm just gonna let this play out. As you guys heard what I just said, I put the trade at break even. But what I also know from experience, another free sauce, usually when we are at highs like this, we don't necessarily fly through it. We might just like reject the equal highs, and with that I mean we might not sweep it at first, and then literally when it's about to sweep, we get a retracement, a little fake out, a little manipulation, and then we go up. It took some time here, but we did. And I was expecting this to happen, right? So what I did was market out this trade. I took a market exit. Why? Because I was expecting a bigger retracement down. Honestly, if I took my entry here or here without getting filled like shit, like this would have even been enough, because you know 2K this would have or actually would have been 2K. No, it would have been like 1800, I think. This, I mean, this would have been the way more valid trade, of course. But if we took this for example, we would have made 2K and we would have needed to done all those things. If my entry was here, I would have just put it at break even, let it do its thing. The thing is, it didn't. It didn't enter me here. I entered here. So I'm in this situation, right? I'm not just gonna pray and hope it just goes up and hope it doesn't hit my break even. Because in my head, I know the chances of it going break even is very high. So I'm not just gonna say like, oh yeah, it's like the entry isn't sublime, the entry isn't supreme. So I'm just gonna say, you know, screw it, and I'm just gonna ruin the trade anyway. I'm just gonna put it at break even and hope for best. Because at that point you're gambling, right? At that point, you're not trading the knowledge you have, you are trading what you hope is gonna happen or not happen. So from my knowledge, I know we're probably gonna retrace from this point. I was like, honestly, I was expecting a bigger retracement, but we didn't do that. So fairs. I took out the trade. It went to my break even. I would have been stopped out, and it went up. And I'm gonna keep it real. If I got break even here, I would have probably crashed out. Because in that moment, I knew what to do, but I would let emotions take over, and I would just be angry at myself. And I would have probably done like 4 minis here. Screw it. And then, you know, at this point it would have worked out, but it might not have worked out. You don't know that. So free sauce again. Work with the knowledge you have, not with what you hope is gonna happen. All right, let's skip this. We had a lot of volume going up. Asia, London. Also very nice setup here with this SMT. Obviously, I don't trade London. We had an SMT here. You could have taken that shorts. It's really good. Now, what do we have here? The last trade of the day, that was trade 2. It's a pretty long video, but for anyone that is watching, genuinely that this might be the most sauciest video I've ever dropped. So hope you guys enjoying it. If you enjoy it, you know, like this shit up. Maybe drop a comment what you want to see. So after this very big move, we swept out these two lows, or my bad, we swept out this low here, and we made an SMT right here. Pretty bullish, right? That's pretty bullish signals. We swept out such a massive low that all those orders are there, and we are forced to get a retracement. It's not an, it's not a do we want an retracement? No, we're forced to retrace higher. I'm gonna show you guys a very valid setup now that I also didn't take, kind of faded it. Honestly, this setup was also way cleaner than the one I got, honestly. And that's this 30 seconds IFEG with, like I said, we swept out a very big low, and then the bullish S&T with very strong lower time frame bias dulls, and in this case that's the equal highs. And as you guys can see, you could have also took an entry here. This was basically what I was looking for. The 30 seconds FEG entry. Didn't take that. I honestly don't know why. Because this was such a free trade. I think it was morely because the low was just all the way down there. Obviously wouldn't have taken this with one mini, maybe 0.5, with 0.5 micros, which you are gonna see in a minute what I did here. Yeah, honestly don't know why I didn't take this. This was honestly such an 8-tier setup as well, which I'm definitely gonna journal. But that's fine, right? Because you can fade 8-tier setups as long as that doesn't make you crash out. Because in the past, I would have easily missed out on this, would have FOMO entered somewhere, probably way too many minis or way too many contracts, and I would have just blown something where I would have just crashed out, right? But I'm trying to move away from that also because I'm just done doing dumb stuff. It's that simple. Like, I know I can trade. I know I'm a very good trader. It's just that emotions really clutter the mindset, clutter like your thought process, and it makes you just do dumb stuff, just like relationships, for example. There's a reason why you say a lot of dumb stuff when you are in your emotions. And that's why don't fight with each other. If you see it's kind of getting hot, when you talk to each other in a relationship, someone go out of the room, say, we're not going to talk about this. We're going to talk about it later. Because if we talk about it now, we're going to say stuff that we're going to regret. Like trading. If you're emotions and you do something that you're going to regret, or at least you're going to do something that you are going to regret, don't do it. All right? If you ever think about doing it, don't do it. All right. So last trade. We had this right here. So with this also, we inversed this right here, right? 5-minute FEG. We did take this equal highs, which means we did take out the we take the draw of the liquidity. But to me, honestly, I was expecting we would go higher, which in this case, I mean, I don't know if we did actually. We're gonna take a look in a second. So what I was aiming for was this retracement right here. Again, 30 seconds. We had this FEG right here. Like a lot of stuff here, right? Pretty sure I already heard it. Yes. So we had a 5-minute FEG here with, of course, the lines, fib retracements, the OTE entries right here. I was already looking for a long here, but I did see it still go down. And I was like, okay, let me just be patient, right? Then we did enter this. We entered this 5-minute FEG. And I was just being patient, right? Are we gonna retrace from here? We had this OTE. Very nice. And then as you guys can see, we inverse this, or started to inverse it, or at this point, yeah, we already inversed it. And I took my entry here on the low here. Because I took this Asia trade, I made 1200, which means I needed 800 more, which also meant I only entered with 6 micros, and this was all I needed to go there. What an exit. Look at that. Such a nice exit. And let's see what it did now. And it just dipped all the way down. If you guys have seen or have kind of, looked at the trades, you would see that one thing, they all have something in common, and that's that there are only 2 RR trades. This, like, I saw this when, I was starting to record this and I was just breaking down the trades to myself. I didn't really realize they were only 2 RR trades until I looked back at them. And that's why journaling is so important, because it's not a confidence that all like 3 winning trades have been low RR, right? And have just been very quick trades. Now, I do have to say, if I just literally entered the other 2 trades I wanted to actually take, it would have obviously been higher RR. But maybe that also says something about myself. Maybe I'm like more comfortable taking only lower RR trades, right? Because as you guys can see, I then fade bigger RR trades to take lower RR trades with minimal risk, like 500 risk. Just something to, experiment with yourself with, something to ask yourself, like, what type of trades do work for me? And that's why this helps me a lot, like making content. But also, you can do this yourself by just journaling. It's very easy. Just look at your trades. Like, it's really crazy that I only take 2 RR trades. Maybe that's something I have to keep improving on, right? So yeah, third trade that I took at New York, we all set them macro, which is, also a good confluence. That also should mind, but yeah. So yeah, we have this trade with the OTE, the 5-minute FEG that got respected, and then going up to this FEG, filling it up, and then going back down. Even though I was expecting it to go higher, but like I said, that we don't need that, so I'm not going to worry about that. Otherwise, it would have maybe been a break even. I don't know. I'm glad with what it was. We took this trade, which would have also, been higher, but yeah, market closes. So what else can you do about that? And we had. Am I stupid? Feels like I'm stupid. Yeah, and we had this trade right here. So that was it. Pretty long video, but honestly, if you had the time to look at the full video, it's just a lot of sauce, 3 trades. I'm just gonna drop this in one video. I can't be bothered to like split it up and stuff. It's up to you if you want to watch this, if you want to learn. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, like and comment. That would help me a lot. Comment if you have any questions. Engage a bit. Help me. Help a man out. Maybe even subscribe so we can get affiliates and stuff. So I can maybe give you guys some codes as well. Maybe I can give you guys some free accounts. That's up to you guys. That's up to you. Just let me know. It's up to you. If you want my help, I need your help. So let me know. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.